Welcome to Inspired Living with Carrie Murphy, the podcast, where as your host each and every week, I am going to inspire you and empower you to share your message and step into that big vision you see for yourself. I'll be bringing you celebrity interviews, influencer insights, and my personal tips from decades as an on-camera talent, TV host, media expert, and entrepreneur, so you can build a brilliant seven-figure brand. Because when you're inspired, you inspire others. So let's go. When I think back to what has been a catalyst for helping me grow Inspired Living into the seven-figure brand it is today, there is one woman's name that comes to mind, and that is Allie Brown. I will never forget that moment where I was brand new in business and I decided to take the big leap and invest in her online program. Fast forward a few years, I am part of her premier group, sitting around a table with other 7- and 8-figure business owners. Allie is known for helping women grow and scale their businesses. She is the host of the critically acclaimed Glambition Radio. And on this episode, we go way back. We talk about where Allie started, some major pivot points in her business, why she had to let go of something really successful to step into something even bigger than she imagined for herself. She talks about her newest venture, The Trust, which I'm super excited to share with you, and really what it's going to take as we move into 2021 to stand out and become the leaders we know we are here to be. Let me tell you, if you want a dose of inspiration, today is your lucky day. So please, let's welcome my guest and friend, Allie Brown.
Hi. Hi. It's great to be here.
How are you and the kids? What's happening?
We're great. I don't know if this is going to be their best academic year, but we're DIY homeschooling, Arizona style, but we're having a good time. I can't complain.
I can't believe how big they are.
They're going to be running my company soon, hopefully.
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, Allie, because as I was preparing for this interview with you, I went back to our Inspired Living interview circa 2015, where I was in Elevate. I was rather new to this world. You had the twins like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And how much has changed. So before we talk about 2020, let's just talk really quickly, because right now we're all shifting. We're all kind of figuring out where to go. And you are known as the go-to entrepreneur coach for women leaders, the 7- and 8-figure women leader. But back then, Allie, you were running a really incredible program called Elevate. And you were growing your business. You had a huge team. You stopped it. And I'm so curious, and I'm sure other people want to know, because right now we have to really choose like what lights us up and what we want to do moving forward into the year. What made that decision for you?
Oh, this is like a bottle of wine conversation. I don't know this one's getting thrown at me. And if I remember, it was like excruciating trying to schedule me to come in for that interview.
It was
and you're like, it's have people upstairs with cameras. You're coming right now. Like you would not let me get out of it.
In the hotel room at one of the events, I'm like, Allie,
it was great.
We are doing this. It was great. That interview is one of my top rated interviews, by the way.
Well, especially, and I have to say, as a woman, when you say I have full makeup team, camera and lighting ready, and I guarantee you're going to look great, I'm like, okay. I mean, I had my twins feeling kind of schlumpy. I'm like, if I'm going to look good, I can sound good. Let's do it.
That's right.
It was. And I think 2015, that was the year I had the courage to start making some changes. And it's so fascinating when people ask me now, what's the hardest thing you've ever done? Or what's the biggest challenge that you've ever encountered? And they expect me to say maybe starting my business or even having my children, which is a close, it's up there, believe me. But it really was having the courage to decide to stop doing something that was completely on paper working. And had happy clients, happy team, everything's chugging along. But to make that decision that felt very selfish, that there was still something greater for me. Mm-hmm. And that was the decision I wrestled with for probably 2 years before I could make a move. Because I was terrified.
Sure.
I was terrified at that time. And I don't know if you remember, I think you were at the very, very last meeting, like the very, very, very last
meetings.
Yeah, we were at like a Hilton.
The Westin.
It wasn't quite No, that was here in Scottsdale.
Oh, yes.
I made it fun. I'm like, damn it, I had twins. You're all flying here, right? Yes. And I think it was at a Hilton that wasn't quite on brand for me usually. And then we had the event, but it was a great event. And if you remember, I think that was where I finally announced saying this will be the last Elevate. And I didn't know what I was expecting, people to throw stuff or they'll be angry. And you're all kind of like, wow. We understand. We see where you're going. We see the people that you're hanging out with. We see these things that you're starting to put together.
Yeah, that's so powerful because I feel like right now, well, especially with 2020 behind us, we've had to make some big decisions. It blows my mind how many businesses have closed. It breaks my heart. And so many of us entrepreneurs are trying to figure out where we want to go next and how to serve our people. And that was a really big decision for you. And tell us what has happened since then. Like once you stepped into that and gave yourself permission to follow the vision, what was it easy, Allie, or was it difficult? What happened?
Once I did it, it felt amazing. And I'll just to give some context, this happened on two levels. There was the internal craving for something different, which is hard to give ourselves, I think, as women too. It feels selfish. I've been blessed with this. Thank you, God, for the blessings in my life. And now I want something more, or now I want something different. So it's this internal creative craving, right, for just something, the new thing. On an external level, though, I think there was a point that I should have been watching the market sooner. I should have been seeing the competition out there and people coming out with just much slicker stuff, younger, cuter. I mean, dancing in the videos, and I'm like, what's happening? I have an Inc. 500 company. Like, who are these people? Right. And so, kind of seeing all that come in the external, and realizing, wow, I need to pick a lane. I can't just be Allie Brown anymore. Like, what do I really stand for? Do I have to now niche? And
this is so
I sat back and said, okay, where am I untouchable? And that is when I knew, working with the women at the 7 and 8 figures, which I had started to attract privately, working with them. I loved the work. They paid in full. They didn't lose their password. They did,
right.
We didn't need a big team. Ladies. Yeah, we didn't need a big team to service them. There was, I was making a list of the pros and cons, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think for me, and remember, this is a personal decision. There's not one right way to do this. For me, I'm like, this is perfect for me right now. I want to simplify. I'm going to serve these clients. They're easy to take care of. I love them, and I'm in a category of one. That changes the game. But not many people are willing to go there. It takes a lot of courage on that level because suddenly, your market is much smaller. Mm-hmm. You're going to be maybe a big fish in a smaller pond, and the ego wrestles with that a bit. Who am I if I'm not having 500-person events in Vegas with acrobats and whatever else we were doing? That was fun. But I think you're going to see more people having to make these decisions. More people are coming online. Right. Yeah. And you're going to see more messaging and more noise. But the beauty of what's about to happen is we're going to start seeing a lot more segmentation of markets and platforms and social. Right. And so there will be increasing opportunities to be that big fish in a smaller pond. And I'm getting a little meta on everyone right now, but when we see where trends are going, the landscape may change in tech depending on regulation or what people's choice, right. Just creating new pockets of people. I think we're going to see more of that. You may be in a place that if you feel there's a lot of competition, then you may need to narrow down. I know it kind of counterintuitive, but either your market or your message or your model, like one of those three things.
Allie, that's the number one thing I'm telling people right now is look, right? Everyone's online. It's not going to go anywhere. You have to shift from being a generalist in your market to a specialist at what you do. People will seek you out. They will pay more for you. You show up as an authority. And you're right, that is really scary. And you have been known as that specialist, right? As working with incredible women leaders, 7 and 8 figures right now and growing. You didn't wake up one day and roll out of bed and be like, I am Allie Brown. I am the mentor for women entrepreneurs in business. Let's go back because it's so easy and to look at other women that are successful. And it seems so easy. You just brought up some really important questions that every person should be asking themselves right now. How do I rise up and become that category of one? What's bringing me joy in my life?
I'm okay saying that I realized I was kind of smart And I got into the real world of business and was just astonished at I guess, I had this vision of going and I'm going to work that corner office job and I'm going to make it in New York. And you get in there and then you're shown the cubicle and, you want to start like,
this is it.
No one wants to hear from the 24-year-old that she sees a new way to work with the client. And so I kept hopping jobs to see where I would fit in. And finally I ended up at a tiny ad agency in New York. There was like 10 people and a cat. It's just like Midtown. And I worked for these older Orthodox Jewish guys. Man, I came in just like with some exciting ideas, but they hired me because they had healthcare clients and I had done similar work at a past job. And so I'm like, I like small business. I like the team. They were really sweet. And so I came in. And pretty soon though, I found out about these people called freelancers. Because I saw some of the team coming and going, and I'm like, hey, what do you do? What do you do? You come back tan from the Hamptons, and you get to set your own schedule. And I'm here
over here, yeah,
I'm here in this cube with no air conditioning in the back, and they said, oh, you could probably do this. They said, we know you do copywriting and project management, and a lot of small agencies hire freelance for this stuff because they can't afford full time. So you could probably just find some agencies and make even more than you are now. And I don't know what it was, Carrie, but I just felt I was so excited. That excitement was so much more prevalent, I remember in my mind, than the being terrified. I just thought, worst case back then too. Look, single, I had no kids, no pets, no problem, no boyfriend, like a crappy apartment. That's all I would lose.
Nothing to lose. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm sure my mom would take me on the couch, for a month or two if I needed it. So I went for it and I loved it. Now, how the internet and coaching came about was this is where we're dating ourselves a bit, but in AOL, like everyone was just starting to pass around that CD. Do you remember the CD that you'd pick up outside?
Remember, yeah.
And we were online, and I was so enchanted with the internet and learning about everything there was. And then I saw the people starting newsletters and info marketing. And so I started just teaching a bit of what I learned and literally bought an ebook on how to sell ebooks. I mean, really, this is as simple as it was back then. Every clue, like everything I would do, I would turn around and teach. And that's what led to coaching. That's what led to the events. That's what led to, a lot of it was the hustle but I want to say some of it was being in the right place at the right time. There's always something magical about that.
Just the beginning of this coaching era, right? And what is now online marketing, and the landscape has changed so much. So you were really, one of the first, especially women in that space. And you were listening to people, and you still do, Allie. I think our clients tell us what they need. And when you listen and you pay attention, right, then I think businesses can organically grow because you continually serve the need of the client that's with you.
Yeah.
Here's something funny, Allie.
What's funny, Carrie? Tell me.
I'm going to tell you something funny, Allie Brown. So the story, 2015, right? It's 2012, I think at the time. I joined Elevate, scared out of my gourd, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I do the thing and I click the I'm in.
Oh yeah, we had the countdown timer.
Yeah, you had the 5, 4, $300 a month. $300 a month. No clue what I was doing, brand new. Fast forward. Now listen to this. Fast forward. Less than 8 years later, I'm in your premier group with other 7- and 8-figure women business owners. I had to take that in for a minute because so much has happened this past year. And I think so many people are afraid to invest, to move forward. And I look back at that space I was in, Allie, so terrified to join your online program. And I can honestly say, I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for making that decision and to look at, oh my gosh, I'm in your premier group, right? We've become friends. Like it's just amazing to me what happens. It just blows my mind.
We often perform at our best when we're forced to.
Ooh, yeah.
Meaning that, we'll kind of just default to the safe route if we have a choice. But if you put that credit card down and say, you know what, now you have to be behind it. You have to be ready to do the work. It's not just the payment, right? But you have to know, like, you knew you're ready. You're like, I don't know the how, but I'm doing this. Right. Even for myself, I still have to do that sometimes, make the hire before we're ready, do the marketing before the programs, all that. Like you just have to do that. And women, I recommend, if you know it's time, and you'll know,
Yep.
By the way, this year's been like this for a lot of people, and that's okay. Give yourself grace. There's times for contraction. Our world needed some contraction, right? We needed a contraction. I'm really feeling right now this transition into 2021. People are ready. They're coming out again. They're making a shift. Commit to that. Be a part of something, stepping up to lead something, or at least just invest in some coaching or consulting. But that sets the tone and then opens that energy flowing for your next level. And I do think I've just seen the women need that a little bit more. So do that for yourself, because it'll force you to at least step out a bit more when you need it.
I agree. Like when you put it down and you say, I'm committed to this and I'm going to do it, it's amazing what opens up. I mean, it really is. I feel like, energy goes where intention flows. And if your intention is to be a thought leader or to shut down everything you've done, and start again, that you have to be willing to commit to what it is that you want. Allie, you had a big transformation through Secret Millionaire when you were on that show. And I know that was a while back, but I want people to understand like how you stepped into this version of you. That was a big pivot point in your life where there was some inner awakening when you were on that show. Can you share a little bit about that for us?
Yeah, and it's kind of funny how it happened, because this one I was really like into being Allie Brown. And and we got a call, we're doing TV, I'm on Fox Business, I'm doing all this stuff. And we get this call, it was a team meeting. I wouldn't take calls. It was the team meeting, right? And we're going through the opportunities.
Allie was getting a little big for her britches over there.
Yeah.
Like I actually liked it quite well.
But we had a lot of systems, right? And so the team was there, like, okay, here's the calls we got this week, and we were making these things happen. They're like, oh, we got this call from ABC. And she said, there's this show that they want to talk to you about going on. And basically she didn't sell it too well to me. She said, well, you go on basically and you kind of act like you're homeless for a week and then you give away your own money. I'm like, no.
That sounds very appealing.
Let me next.
They need to work on their messaging. Yes.
And then she came back. She's like, well, I have more information now. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, well, that can't be what you told me. Let's look at this a little closer. And I watched some of the shows and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I think I need this. That's what I remember thinking. I just saw the transformation that people went through. And I was getting that craving feeling I talked about before. Like, I just didn't know where I wanted to land. Like, I had great stuff going on, but I thought, okay, what's next? What's the next thing?
Right.
And when that came to me and, I sat with it, thought, this is the thing. This is the thing that it's not where I'm landing, but this is going to show me the next thing, You will see me transform on that show, because it was like your phone when it gets disoriented in the GPS and you have to shake it up. That's what I needed. And I knew that. I couldn't even express it. And it was hard to even explain to some people I knew why I was doing the show. And I have to tell you, that was the most straightforward, amazing production team, authentic experience that we had. And I got to really work with some amazing, amazing people. And I'll never forget that. That show was really a transformation for me. What they show at the end of the show is, I come back up to my fantastic beach house, which I still miss, by the way, they show me go in and shut the door and go in. What they didn't show was me literally just making room and getting rid of some things, but like smaller things, right? Have a little sale, clean things out, lean out the team a bit. Just, if you're not sure what you want next, the best thing to do is start letting some things go. And no coincidence after that, I'm sure, is when I met my husband, and we had the twins very quickly. And, all these blessings started just pouring into my life because I had the courage to start making room for them.
I think that's a really powerful statement that someone needs to hear right now. And going back to that moment, Allie, where you dropped and you're like, God, just use me. I'm like, just use me today. Just, help me make an impact in people's lives. What would you say was the thing, like the breakthrough that you had from being on that show? What was it?
This just may sound so funny. Yet it may make sense to so many of you at the same time. But I'm often embarrassed when I share that the biggest breakthrough was, I remember people ask still today, was that really hard? Like, living on $50 for the week and, kind of in a near homeless situation, working with people on welfare and stuff. I said, by Wednesday, midway through the week, I didn't want to come back.
Wow.
And the reason was, when I thought about it, no one could reach me. And I had not had that space or given myself that space in years
Yeah.
to receive and be present. So I was happier being near homeless, eating spaghetti than my current like a day in the life.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening? Okay, what does this mean, man?
Yeah.
Like
That
that
is profound
that
stuff
for
right there.
me, yeah, that was really the impetus too for like saying, okay, you know what? You may not be able to clear your whole calendar right away, but you know what? No more calls on Fridays.
Yeah.
No more meetings on Fridays, or Tuesday mornings is my walk on the beach day, right? And you just put it in the calendar, and you just tell people there's no negotiating, no, nothing. That's mine, and that's how it started. So for me, it was a gift of time and space.
Because if there's anything 2020 has given people that maybe they didn't want or realize, was time and space. And I remember our calls together when you were working, with me, you'd always be like, Carrie, you need to book the space, right? You need to find time. You need to give yourself room. And I feel like we go and trying to
It's a
keep
whole
our
different
businesses-
game.
I mean, it is
Yeah.
bananas.
That was when I was single. What the hell was I doing all day?
Yeah.
I don't even know what I did all day.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the number one thing I say to my team. I'm like, I need space. I need space, and for you to go back and go, I enjoyed being homeless more than being, the multimillionaire that I was, because you didn't have that space,
Yeah.
So
it's
let's
funny
talk
when we
about,
go, sorry, one more.
No, go ahead.
At this profound wrap up point, if I may.
Yes, please.
That, when we give ourselves that gift is the transition to the next place. So even if it's a small gift, even if you just make a little room, like that will open up that space for women, especially, is where the next level opens up.
So talking about transitions, you have been amazing in my life. You've been an incredible mentor. And on the other side, the community that I've been connected to, the incredible women leaders, has just been an ROI I can't ever put money on, And so you created something called the trust. And I would love for you to share with us what that is, why we need it. Tell us why you stepped into this, and what it is and why we need it.
Yeah, it's kind of three levels to it. First of all, is I wanted to create something that I had the blessings to experience as my business was ascending, of like either winning certain awards or being invited at a certain level to attend things that I know a lot of the other women business owners weren't. And I'm thinking, how can I bring these worlds together? The second level is, I had my clients most of my clients typically coach with me maybe 2 or 3 years. And then they're like, where can I go now? I don't even know where to tell you. Right. There's some groups, but many of them are nice people and good organizations, but they're a little out of touch with the modern types of businesses we have today that are very, digital, or at least we're using digital components to what we do. Right. And then the third part of it is what sealed the deal. And I was like, all right, it's time to press the pedal. Is last year, American Express came out with their State of Women-Owned Businesses report, is what it's called. 2 fastest growing segments of women-owned business. The first is the very bottom, under 25,000. So they didn't clarify, but we can assume that they're very startup, maybe part-time businesses, or they're just getting going, right? Mm-hmm. The second fastest growing is $1 million plus. Wow. And when I saw that, I said, this is actually an underserved market. And that's when I thought, it's time for the trust. There are a lot of women, especially in our communities, I think, that also may get to a point that they don't need coaching anymore. They're like, I don't want to be in a mastermind program, but they want to be part of something. Yeah, that's still that community. That's what I always heard is, Allie, we come to your events, we love you, but the women you attract are really what is that same point. And so I decided to do it. I decided to create the trust, and we launched this year, which was a fantastic year to launch something based on live events, by the way.
Perfect timing.
I'm like, okay. I trust you. And so, I could say after this year, we had a solid start. We are built for all seasons now. That's one thing I can say. We have the online now with the offline. We have incredible guest advisors we bring in. Typically, women have created companies that generate $100 million or more. Wow. They spend the morning with us at our events. There's so much going on, but I wanted something just of a different flavor that women would have for themselves outside of the other groups or things that they may even be a part of, but like this juicy community that is just growing and so strong.
Oh, that's so exciting, Allie. So congratulations. And I do feel like it's really needed because, when you get to that level, we do want the coaching, but I want to learn from women that are doing bigger things and playing in a bigger game. And,
Yeah.
so I'm so excited about what it is that you've created. And if there's someone listening right now who is interested in learning if the trust is right for them, how would they do that?
Jointhetrust.org is our site, and we're a little mysterious. You enter your information. If you are over 1 million, please, we do have a cutoff, and my team would be happy to talk with you about everything we have coming up this year, online and offline. And then you can learn about me in general and my show and everything I do at alliebrown.com.
Fantastic. Amazing. Well, I'm so excited to be a part of that. It's just crazy what this year has brought so many of us, and we get to look into 2021 and all the possibilities. And I will say too, we really did learn how to be a business for all seasons. And we've never done better because we are showing up for people. We didn't go away. We're being out there, right? And being present. So it's a great learning lesson that you really can reach people where they're at right now. And I will say that if you're in that place where you're generating at least 7 figures in your business, you definitely want to check out The Trust. It's an amazing community of women leaders, and Allie's at the helm, which, what else can you say? So Allie, also want to know, with all the women that you're coaching, I'm sure there are some strategies that are working right now that people would love to know. Would you be willing to share a couple of those with us?
A year like this is a wake-up call that you may have some things that are going well. And even if they're still going well, in the back of your mind, okay, I need another way to bring clients. So for example, those of you who are rocking it online right now, in your mind, prepare for the internet to literally blow up. And people read into this a little bit, but they get through it. So for example, a big complaint often is Facebook ads will shift for things when people are people are using ongoing. So just be prepared. I remember hearing from one of my early marketing mentors was Dan Kennedy. I learned such great stuff from him. Always have another way or a backup that you're going to be ready to do that. And I think that's the biggest advice. It's been a tough year for some business owners. Many, the ones in our communities, I think, are really good at pivoting. They have a lot of flexibility. And I'm trying to think of the other thing this year.
Video.
I think a video. Yeah. Oh my God. I love this. And this is great, but I can't wait to see you in person again.
I know, me too.
I do think you're going to see a resurgence of live events.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Slowly. Yeah, it may start slowly because people are, but I'm telling you, even my clients, and we're still, my whole thing is if it's legal, I'm having it, come or not. I tell my members, come if you're comfortable. If not, you don't have to this month. But people are craving that in person. So if that works for you, then offer it, because I think you're going to see more of that happening, perhaps smaller groups, smaller events, more localized things, or kind of private or almost secretive type things happening. That high touch, that's going to be very on trend for next year.
High touch it rules right now because there's just so much noise. And, one of the things I tell my clients all the time is that, you are an experience, you are a brand, and helping people feel special and seen is so important. And Allie, I can't wait till I can sit down with that glass of wine with you and we can talk about so many other things. So thank you for today.
This was great. Thank you.
Oh, good. Hey, what does inspired living mean to you?
I think just feeling like I'm in my zone every day. And every day I try to wake up, in all the craziness right now. And if you look at, wake up and look at the headlines and stuff, and I'm guilty of that too, or getting on my phone, but then checking back in, going, what's important about today? Yeah. And I look at my children. I look at, what we've created for ourselves. I look at the wonderful things in our life, and I focus on that. And my great clients, staying in that zone to me is inspired living.
Beautiful, Allie. Well, thank you for helping me stay in my zone and helping me grow this incredible business. I consider you, an incredible mentor and friend, and just so blessed that honestly, some guy introduced you to me before I even knew what I was going to do. And here we are.
And look at what you've done. It's just incredible. And it's wonderful to witness what you've created for yourself. And it's fantastic as well.
Oh, thank you so much, Allie. So just another reminder to check out The Trust and definitely follow Allie on Instagram. I love your posts, Allie. I love seeing how you kind of break the status quo. Sometimes you have these powerful, thoughtful moments. It's why you're the woman that you are. So again, thank you for continually being a woman that we can look up to, and also, to show that it's real life. and we all have our struggles, and you got to follow what your heart's telling you to do next. And I think that's really important moving into this next year, is that we take stock and inventory of where we're at and figure out what lights up and step into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much, Allie. I'll see you soon. You've just heard another uplifting episode of Inspired Living with Carrie Murphy, the podcast. I hope you loved it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. And if you'd like to know more about Inspired Living or to get your hands on many of our awesome free resources, such as the Be Studio Ready Guide, simply visit us at inspiredliving.tv/podcast. Remember, your vision is your destiny, and we're here to help you bring it to life. Join me again next week for another extraordinary episode.